Well, good afternoon. I'm Ted Gardner. I'm an interviewer for the Library of Congress Oral History Project here at our wonderful Public Library of Cincinnati. And we have the honor of being videographed by Dennis Daly of the History Department staff of our public library. And we're interviewing today Jack Studt.
What's that?
We're interviewing you today. Today we're interviewing you. I'm telling this for the camera, so it's recorded on there, okay? And we're interviewing Jack Studt today about his World War II experience. Where were you born and when, Jack?
What was my what?
Where were you born and
Cincinnati,
when?
Ohio.
And when?
Out there. Cincinnati, Ohio.
And when?
Where?
When? What year?
1919.
1919. Were you born downtown here?
What's that?
Were you born downtown? Were you born downtown?
No, I was born at Deacon's Hospital up there next door to Hughes High School.
Oh yes, sure. Wonderful, wonderful. Where did you go to elementary school?
Mount Adams.
Mount Adams School, okay. And you went through grade school there?
I went to kindergarten at, I forgot, a school out on Eastern Avenue, named after one of our Fulton School.
Oh, Fulton School. Oh, yes,
Yeah.
sure.
You know where that is?
Yes, indeed.
At Kemper Lane.
Yes, right. And then when did you go to high school?
Woodward High School, downtown.
Downtown. On Sycamore Street over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, your history, all right. That's wonderful. That's just wonderful. Tell me about your family.
My immediate family?
Yeah.
Or how far back do you want?
No, your family that you grew up with.
Well, my father's name was William George Studt. My mother's name was Pearl Lind Studt. And then my brother was George Edwin Studt, 7 years older than me.
I see.
That's it.
That's it. The two boys.
Two boys.
Two boys. When you entered, let's see, when you entered Woodward High, what class?
What's that?
What class were you in Woodward High?
The class of
well, let's see, 1919.
31.
1937. 37.
36.
37.
Class at Woodward High School. No.
Well, if you were born in 1919 and you went 18 years, that would make you 1937.
Okay.
Okay? Fine. What did you do after high school?
After high school?
Yeah.
I entered UC in the College of Engineering.
Oh, you did? Wow. Good for you.
As a co-op.
Co-op student. Wonderful. Yeah. That was a great program, wasn't it, that co-op?
Yeah, let me tell you, you want me to tell you something about that?
Absolutely.
Just recently I heard the statistics that co-op plan is in effect at 1,600 schools around the world.
Yes, yes.
Originated here in 1906.
Right. That's right.
Dean Herman Snyder.
And an absolutely amazing development. It helped so many people. Okay, so 1937 you entered college. Then when did you graduate from UC?
48. That's right, isn't it? Yeah, 48.
1948.
I had dropped out.
I understand, and you went to war.
Yeah.
In between there, sure. Do you remember where you were on Pearl Harbor Day, December 7th, 1941?
Yeah.
Where were you? At home?
Well, I was in Cincinnati. I don't know. All over Cincinnati.
Sure, right. Well, so many people were at home and they say, oh yes, and we were listening to the radio and we heard the news on the radio
Yeah,
about Pearl Harbor.
about Pearl Harbor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What the pervading attitude of the people at that time was, well, we have to win this war. We'd been attacked.
Well, yeah, that was it. But also the Nazis said that
Oh,
to
yeah.
themselves,
They sure did.
I think.
They sure did. They wanted to conquer the world, of course.
What's that?
They wanted to conquer the world, the Nazis.
Yeah,
They wanted to conquer the world. So we had to make sure that they didn't do that.
true.
Because, when did you enter?
When did I enter it?
Yeah.
On December the 7th, 1942,
Okay.
on the first anniversary of
First
Pearl Harbor.
anniversary of Pearl Harbor. Did you enter the Army or the Army Air Corps?
Yeah, it was the Army Air Corps.
Army Air Corps. Where did they send you for your first training? Where did they send you for your initial training?
For initial grading,
Training.
training. I usually can think of this like that. Santa Ana Air Force Base.
Oh, in California.
Yeah, at Santa, California.
Wow.
They had 15,000 troops there
Wow.
in training.
Right, right. Did you go out on the train from Cincinnati?
Excuse me for laughing, but I'll tell you that. Yeah, I reported in Columbus,
Oh,
and I got on a train, and the train seemed to be zigzagging all over the United States. But on about the fifth day, they got on the road to Southern California. Would you like to know?
absolutely. Tell us all about it.
These were Pullman cars. Do you know what a Pullman car
Oh,
was
yeah.
back in those days?
Oh, I know it very well.
Two in
You
the
bet.
bottom, one on top.
You bet.
And I was I guess I was just not up to snuff. But when I got off the train, I talked to people about this trip. And I said, these guys played cards and some of them lost as much as $10. And that amazed me. I lived on Mount Adams, you know.
Yeah, that was big money. That's right. Were you a card player yourself?
What's that what?
Were you a card player yourself?
Oh no, I lived on Mount Adams. I was never into that sophisticated stuff.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Okay, so when you got to Santa Ana, when you got to Santa Ana, then tell us what happened. Tell us about when you got to your training camp.
Yeah, well, first off, they put you in training, and I think it was there about 8 weeks, just for general training,
Right.
learning how to march, where to go to eat in a mess hall, and
Learning to salute and all
that
that.
kind of stuff. And let's see now. And then I had basic training
Okay.
there.
Yes. Then after basic training, where did they send you?
They sent me to Mather Field in Sacramento, California,
Oh, yeah.
to learn how to aerial navigate,
Oh.
because I was a navigator
Ah, I
in
see.
the Air Corps,
Yes.
not the Air Force.
Oh no, I remember that very well.
Yeah.
You bet. Well, that's interesting because navigation was a very, very important part of flying.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, if you didn't know where you were going, you were in trouble.
Let me tell you this. When you navigate in the air, you're not flying exactly where you want to go. You know, if you want to go over there and the wind is blowing that way, you have to aim over there.
That's right.
You understand that?
Oh, yes. Did you do celestial navigation?
An octant, you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had an octant.
Uh-huh.
But if you're as much as 1 degree off from where you want to go, that's 60 miles. There's 360 degrees
Right.
around the world. And if you miss it by 1 degree, you miss it by 60 miles.
That's right. That's
That
right.
ain't good.
Not good at all. What kind of what was the first type of aircraft?
First what?
First aircraft that you
That I got
trained in?
into, it was a Lockheed Hudson, a training plane.
Oh, I see. Twin engine?
Huh?
Twin engine? 2 engines?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, twin.
That was a twin engine. Right, right. Well, Mather Field was a very, very important base.
It was what?
A very important base. Mather Field.
Oh, I don't know. It was.
Well, I remember.
It wasn't anything like Santa Ana, but what they were doing, was more sophisticated.
Oh yes, of course, of course. When you were training in the Lockheed Hudson,
And training where?
when you were training in the Lockheed Hudson plane, how many were there in the crew?
Oh, 2, the
Pilot and co-pilot?
pilot and co-pilot, and then there were 3 students sitting along the side of the plane with a desk, 3 of them, practicing the things they had learned on the ground.
Right, right. How long were you there at Mather Field?
Huh?
How long were you there at Mather Field?
At Mather Field,
Uh-huh.
how long I was there?
Yeah.
Let's see, I would say 6 months.
Oh yeah.
Long enough for some woman come out to marry me from Cincinnati.
Really?
Yeah, there she sits.
Boy, you were lucky. You were lucky.
You really don't know the total of it. If you
I'm
knew
sure
her.
I don't.
I understated.
Now, when did you get your navigator's wings?
Huh?
When did you get your navigator's wings?
The wings?
Yes.
Oh. Well, that would have been Mather Field in Sacramento.
Okay. And is that when you got your lieutenant
And what?
bar?
Huh?
Is that when they made you a lieutenant?
Second lieutenant.
Second lieutenant?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what happened?
Well, I was sent to a small little town in Washington. It had an air base. Let's see,
Fort Lewis?
what was the name of that city?
Yakima.
Well, there were 2 cities. One was, gee, I don't remember those. One of them was, I guess we'll have to skip out.
Okay.
It'll come to me probably.
Right. Well, there were a number of bases in the state of Washington.
Huh?
There were a number of bases in the state of Washington.
The state of Washington is a big desert. Do you know that? Have you been there?
Oh yeah, the eastern
Desert.
eastern part of the state's all desert.
You want me to tell you little things?
Yeah, tell us.
While I was there, now it was hot in the central Washington, and there were 2 bases I know of there. But in the B-17 Flying Fortress, was in those days a big airplane, and you could take the roof out of it, and you just unsnip the clamps and take the roof out, maybe that long and this wide, and then you had air coming in. While I was there, one, let's call him a soldier, fell out of the top of the airplane.
Oh, wow.
The pilot had made a maneuver of a sort, and the guy went out, the plane went that way, and this guy stayed up there. And then, while I was still there, they organized big lines of men to look for his body, because in a desert like that, there's a little scrub plants.
Right, right. Well, that was a terrible thing.
I wasn't there long. I don't know if they found him or not.
What a tragedy. After your training there in Washington State, were you then sent overseas?
No. I was assigned to a crew there in Washington, and our squadron moved from Washington to Nebraska to do something. I think we got some arms there, like 45 pistols. And around the officers' club, all these guys with their 45 pistols in their holster there walking around. I guess they probably didn't issue bullets yet for those guns. And then I went to New Jersey. That was a regular camp, I think, in eastern New Jersey. And let's see, I was there probably a week. And then we got orders to get ready to go across. And that meant get your the bag they used to give you in the Army. We had stuff in it, and your clothing, everything you had was in this drawstring bag about this big around.
Right.
And what was his name? That base was named after a famous poet, I think. And we got on. Did you ever hear the Queen Mary?
Oh, yes.
How would you describe the Queen Mary?
Very large and very fast.
It was the first of the big ships.
Yep.
And it took us
4 days?
Probably they're changing course every 10 or 15 seconds. Right.
That was to avoid.
Do you want to know this kind of stuff?
Oh, yeah. I was in the Navy.
Let's see.
I was in the Navy for 4 years.
Is that right?
From 42
Where
to.
did you serve?
In the South Pacific.
Oh, you needed boats out there, didn't you?
Oh, my. Nothing but ocean. So you went across on the Queen Mary, and was there a large number of troops aboard the ship?
15,000.
15,000. Wow.
In one of those big staterooms,
Yeah.
you might have 8 or 10 bunks coming out from the wall.
Sure.
Can you visualize that?
Yes, indeed. I know about that. You did.
We landed in Scotland,
Oh, yes.
and they put us off on lighters. You familiar with that term?
Yes, indeed. Sure.
A little
Smaller
boat
to get into the shore.
to get you to the shore.
Sure.
Yeah. And immediately got on the train and went down to southern England, where we got into a U.S. Army base. Well, let's see. I flew, I think, 52 missions.
52 missions. Wow.
Except you never heard of this before, I don't think.
Try me.
We dropped leaflets,
Propaganda.
a B-17.
Yeah.
They were psychological, wherefore sometimes
Yes.
you dropped them to friends, sometimes you dropped them to the enemy.
Right.
Sometimes we dropped them with passes in it where the German soldier could see it in free cost to
Surrender.
desert the German
Yes.
army. And in one case I heard of, probably a legend, one of these German had his pass to get to the Americans, and one of the Americans asked if he could bring a friend along. And what do you think their answer was? I don't know, but I can guess. They took him.
Absolutely. Well, now that's very interesting. That propaganda that you were, the literature that you were dropping. That's very interesting, and that was a very important part of the war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it takes a twist too. We also dropped leaflets that contained the soccer scores to the Germans before they could get it through their own organization. I guess you know soccer is big in Europe.
Oh yes, yes indeed. Well, that's very interesting. The air base out of which you flew.
The what?
The air base out of which you flew.
The air base.
Out of which you,
Oh,
from where you flew.
in England.
Yeah, in England. Where? Do you remember the name of it? Well, it was a B-17 base, right?
Yeah.
Right. Now, 52 missions. How many of those were bombing missions?
None. We were all propaganda missions.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's very interesting.
I was there a year, and the way this would work, we would get. You want me to tell you this whole thing?
Absolutely.
All right. The way this worked was all the intelligence was in London. They would decide something should be bombed over there in Europe, and they would send us the name of the bomb, the place to be bombed. Wait a minute. So we would, they would get that maybe at noon in our air base. And they would alert us that we're going to fly tonight. And we flew individually in the dark, blacked out.
Oh, my.
Now, we only dropped leaflets, remember. I had relatives in Germany because I'm of German descent.
Yes.
But after it was all over, I could think, well, I didn't kill any of my relatives over there. And I was happy about that.
I should say so.
Unescorted. They weren't escorted when they were flying.
No, unescorted. I understand that, yes. Well, no, that's okay. And that's good to get that across because you flew, as you say, you flew at night.
What's that?
You flew at night only, right?
Only.
And unescorted. You didn't have an escort plane.
No escort.
So you didn't drop
Each
bombs.
plane flew individually.
I understand
and maybe
that.
we'd have 6 or 8 planes
Right.
flying all over you.
Right, exactly. Did you ever save any of that material that you dropped?
What?
Did you ever save? Did you save any?
No, and I'm
You
sorry
should-
about that.
I know, you should have done. We all made mistakes like that. I lost a lot of stuff.
Some of them were in German,
Oh, yes.
I presume, and some of them were in English probably, and French.
Right. And maybe Dutch too. How far into Germany did you fly? Do you know how far?
Into Germany?
How far?
Into Germany?
Yeah.
We never flew into Germany.
Oh, you didn't fly over Germany?
The military authorities thought it was too dangerous to fly in Germany.
Right. They
Now-
would have shot you down.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well that, so you say you got over France and then
What?
you'd
What's
come
that?
back? You flew over France and then you came back?
Yeah, France and some of the northern countries,
Okay.
Norway and
Norway.
Sweden.
Wonderful.
Very few of those though.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
one night we flew so far north, it never got dark. We're getting near the North Pole
Up near the Arctic Circle, sure.
in a B-17.
Right. Well, the B-17 was a wonderful plane.
Well, by today's standards, it was nothing.
Well, no, but at that time.
We flew with 500-pound bombs, and if that happened to hit somebody in the head, it would probably kill him.
I would say so.
That's what a 500 bomb will do.
Right.
They got a lot bigger after that.
Oh, after that, they certainly did. Well, now, 52 missions is a lot. That's a lot of flying.
Well, it's not very far across from London. Of course, Berlin is further east. I don't think I ever flew to Berlin, but we along the western peninsula, western shore.
Sure, right. Did you fly over Paris?
Uh,
Did you fly over Paris?
let me think about that. I don't believe so,
Uh-huh.
but that wouldn't be too bad flying over France.
No. No, I should say not. Every time that you returned to base,
What's that?
every time that you returned to your base in England, then you got your rest and then you went out the next night?
What's that?
Did you have a period of rest at the base? A period of rest?
Oh, well, sure, we got back maybe at 3 o'clock in the morning, but they always had a meal there for us.
Okay. All right.
A very simple meal, but it was something to eat.
Right. What time of day did you take off? Just before dark?
Oh, maybe late in the daylight,
Late in the day? Yeah.
because they were basically night missions.
Sure. That's what I understand.
There were
So-
10 men on the B-17. You
Right.
know that.
Right. Yeah, you know, we have one up at the Blue Ash Airport. We have a we have a B-17 at the Blue Ash Airport.
At what Air Force?
We have a B-17 bomber at the Blue Ash Airport.
Oh, we do?
Yes, we do.
Have you been in it?
Well, the story about that is that it isn't all put together because they don't have a hangar big enough for it.
Oh.
A private individual owns that plane.
Oh, he bought it, took it apart.
Yeah, and putting it back together again.
I think I may have heard of that.
Yes, yes. Of course, I didn't serve in the Air Corps or the Air Force. I served in the Navy.
Or Air Corps was right.
Air Corps, that was first.
That was part of the Army.
Yeah. Well, you know, during World War I, the flying service was under the Signal Corps.
Yeah, I
Did
think
you
I
know,
remember
you knew that? Yeah, right. When you were in England, did you have free time? Did you have what we called liberty in the Navy?
What's that?
Did you have furloughs or free time? Free time. Did you get to go into a village or go to London or anything like that?
I'm not understanding you.
Okay, let me put it this way. Did you get to go to London?
Go.
London. London. London, the capital of England.
The capital of what?
Of England. London, the big city of London.
Did we ever go over London? Or
Did you go into London?
oh, you mean personally?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. You could hear the bombs dropping there. Germany was hitting London pretty hard.
Oh, yeah.
That was where the war was winding down.
Yes.
And you could hear them out there in London. And I heard them.
Did you experience what they called the V bombs, the buzz bombs?
Huh?
Did you experience the buzz bombs of Germany? The terrible bombs that they would fly?
Did I experience them?
Yeah. Did you hear them or see them while you were in England?
I'm not understanding.
Okay, well, we'll move on. So how long were you in England?
The what?
How long were you in England?
Year.
1 year. So that brought you into what, 1945 or 1944?
You want to know what year I was there?
Yeah.
Okay. I think from September of 84 roughly until November 85.
Okay, 44.
That's right, and then I got home in 85.
45.
Yeah.
45.
Yeah, 45.
45. So from 44 to 45, right? Well, that was a long, that was a good period of service.
Yeah.
My goodness sakes. And you got, of course, the Distinguished Flying Cross.
That was principally for flying.
Yes.
I flew in 52 missions.
52 missions, and that's a very, very important medal. And I'm so glad and I'm honored to meet you and to see that. Now you have your service campaign ribbons here.
Let's see, there's a medal like this.
Yes.
For each one of these.
Yes, right. Now this is the European campaign here.
And these colors,
Yes,
each color denotes a different nation.
yes, right. Do you remember what this ribbon is here?
No, I don't. The only one I remember is that, and that's
Okay.
red, white, and blue.
Right, and of course the oak leaf clusters on there.
Yeah. See this one?
Yeah.
It's the same as that one.
Yes, right, exactly. Well, that's just very, very important, Jack, to know about that. And you know you're going to get a DVD of this interview, and your family will have that, and your friends will be able to see it and hear about what you did. That's wonderful. Do you have any funny stories? Any interesting
Odd stories?
odd stories you'd like to tell us?
I could probably get up a few.
Good, good.
One time, I was visiting a base, not our base, but one other, or B-17s around, and there was a plane there. Now the way the personnel on a B-17 was, the bombardier sat in the front with a bomb sight and plexiglass, and right behind him, I sat on a, what'd you think I sat on? An ammunition box.
Oh, gosh.
And I had a little table here. One time, they talked about how to avoid an attacking plane, and they told the pilot to peel off. Well, we were flying along one time, and the pilot decided to try that, and he said, "Here we go," and the plane went down, and my desk went up, and I went up, and then when we got to the bottom of that, we came down again. Just disturbed the pencils and stuff, I guess.
Yes, well, that rapid drop, of course, overcame gravity, you know, and that's what happened.
Oh, I wanted to tell you one other thing.
Oh, tell us.
At this other air base, I experienced a plane. Now, let's say I'm the navigator, sitting the bombardier looking out the front, and I'm over here. A bomb came through that airplane, took out the navigator. There was a hole in the top of the airplane and the bottom, and the navigator went out with it. Probably mashed him before he got out of the airplane. That's from, I guess, from a mission flying over another mission. Boom.
Boy, that was terrible. That was terrible. Did you ever crash? Did a plane you were on ever crash?
Crash?
Uh-huh.
No.
You never crashed. That's lucky.
No, I'm glad I may be able to tell you that.
You wouldn't be here. That's right.
His brother had an interesting job in the war also.
Pardon?
His brother had an interesting job in the war, and you may want to ask him.
Okay, right. I see that's on the list there. Let's see how, well, first of all, how did you get promoted to captain?
Well, I did my job the way I was supposed to.
Right.
I had flown all my missions.
Mm-hmm.
I had flown, how many missions did I fly, do you remember?
52.
52.
25?
52.
Huh?
52.
52?
52.
Okay. Well, now, all those missions for me was flown in a single plane. There were other planes like mine flying over there and over there.
Of course.
Each one of us had a different target.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with a normal bombing, you get a formation up there. In fact, on D-Day, I think that was,
June
June the 4th, 45. Does that sound right?
44. 44.
44,
June
okay.
6, 1944.
Okay. The Allies had 16,000 planes in the air, bombing everything they could find in Germany.
Right. Yeah. Where were you?
We flew our individual height on that day. For the first time, we took off in the daytime.
Oh.
We always flew at night.
Sure. So did you fly over the beaches on the 6th of June, 1944?
Fly over what?
Over the French beaches, the Normandy beaches. Did you fly over the beaches on D-Day?
Fly over the. We flew, I think, on the edge of the overall invasion.
Oh, that's what I wanted to know. That's very interesting. Very interesting. So could you see the action down there, down on the ground?
I don't remember that,
Yeah.
but
Well,
our plane was not armed.
Mhm.
But on that day, they put in a 50 caliber machine gun, a loose one like that,
right.
and in case the German
In
planes
case you
came out.
got attacked.
And,
That's right. Well, that's just amazing. So you got your 2 bars on your shoulder.
Me?
You got your captain's bars,
Yeah.
and that was a very proud day.
Well, the operations officer one day said to me, would you fly another mission? I'll try to get you a promotion. And I thought about it, to captain that is. I thought, boy, that would be nice. And I thought of my wife, and I told the operations officer, I don't think so. Well, about a month later, I got my promotion anyway
Oh, you did.
to captain.
Good for you. Good for you. Well, you certainly deserved that after 52 missions. You certainly deserved that after 52
Well,
missions.
we never saw action there. That was a great place to be,
Yes.
because the people on the ground, and of course all those weapons had where they could put into the bomb at what time it exploded when you got up there.
Right. Right.
And I think a couple times we felt a few little flak, as they would call
Flak.
it.
Yeah.
And,
I was going to ask you about that
but I'm
because
glad that
explode in the air. Yeah. Flak exploded in the air.
yeah, sure.
Oh, it was terrible.
That's right.
Oh, of course. Terrible.
And I think a few of those hit us one time.
Right.
We didn't know it at the time.
Right. Did anybody else in your crew get wounded, or did anybody in your crew get wounded, get a Purple Heart or anything like that?
No,
Yeah, yeah.
we didn't have that kind of. They were shooting at us, but
Yeah.
They must have been trying to train them to shoot down there.
That's right. Well, when did you come back to the States?
When was that? 45, was it? November of 45? 44.
44. Oh, okay. And you were home waiting for him, weren't you?
With a baby.
With a baby? With you?
No.
No, not you. You're much too young for that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I know that. So, tell us about your brother. What kind of a service did he have?
My brother was worked for the city of Cincinnati in the engineering department. He was a civil engineer. In 1942, I think, an Army colonel came through Cincinnati recruiting civil engineers.
Mm-hmm.
And my brother accepted a second lieutenant's commission. And I think he was in the Army before I was. Is that right? But I made captain before he did. So let's see.
Where did he serve? Where did your brother serve?
Oh, all through, I think, Southern Europe, through Africa, and up through Italy.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. And then they proceeded up from the soft spot of Europe.
Right.
And I don't remember exactly how far he got up.
Mm-hmm. Well, as an engineer, was he in charge of construction of bridges or anything like that?
Yeah, like his group. Now, captains are normally over, I don't know the ranks too well.
Company.
Captain was over a regiment.
A company. A company.
Company.
Yeah.
Okay. So he mentioned buying lumber to build that bridge over the, like that.
Right.
Because I never thought of an officer like that being supplied with money to accomplish his mission.
Right, exactly. Now, so you came back to the States in 1944, right?
That was 44, wasn't it? Yeah.
Okay. And then where were you assigned?
Huh?
Where were you assigned when you came back to the States?
Where was I? What?
Assigned.
Oh, I was out of the Army. Oh, I guess I was in there and something they were just running wasn't important. And I don't know what that was.
When did you get discharged? When did you get discharged?
Get my what?
Discharge.
Oh, Camp Atterbury. Does that sound familiar to you? In Indiana?
Yeah.
I think there's where I got discharged.
Okay.
No, wait a minute. No, it was in Texas, because I remember Ruth and our little baby and I were in Texas, and they paid for me to get home, but they wouldn't pay for Ruth to get home.
Oh.
That's a good thought.
Yeah. Brr. Cheapskates.
Yeah.
So you came back to Indiana and then eventually back to Cincinnati. Eventually you got back to Cincinnati.
What about getting?
You got back to Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Now, had you gotten your degree by that time? Had you graduated from UC by that time?
Yeah, I was working for the city of Cincinnati at that time in the engineering department.
And what did you do?
I was a draftsman.
Okay. What, for streets and highways, or what part of the city, what kind of work in the city did you do? I mean, you were a draftsman for what? For buildings or highways or what?
Oh, yeah. They got a big department of sewers.
Sewers, ah, there we are.
I could prove it. If you go out there today, you'll run into it on every street practically.
You and Ed Norton.
And they had highways. The
Yes,
city had highways.
right.
And right offhand,
Any,
those are the only two things I can think of at this time. But they had health department. Well, they had a lot of stuff. The city
Right.
did.
do you remember any funny experiences that you had?
Remember anyone?
Any funny or odd experiences in the city?
Oh, odd experience.
Yeah, working with people and so
Either
forth.
here or in Europe.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, I was in Europe. I was in the Midlands. You know, that's just above London, I believe.
Right.
And a friend of mine was in the what was he in? I guess some kind of air corps, but he was way up in Scotland. They were flying supplies to Norway and Sweden.
Oh, yeah.
Food supplies, and I guess a few bombs mixed in.
Sure.
And I went to visit him one time. Now, what happened there? I think I drank too much. And
Scotch whiskey?
I vomited on my shoes,
Oh, my.
and my friend got down and cleaned them off.
Oh, gosh.
Don't listen to this.
No, we don't talk about that. Well, that was not uncommon, I can tell you that. And I'm being in the Navy for 4 years, I can tell you a lot of bad stories about too much drinking. But did you intermingle at all with any of the English people?
Do what?
Did you mingle with any of the English people?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Of course, you were married at the time. And you were married at the time,
Yeah.
so you had to think about your wife.
No, I didn't. I wasn't very sophisticated, I don't think.
Well, you got a great sense of humor.
And a matter of fact, I'm still unsophisticated.
No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. Well, your experience as a civil engineer.
My brother was a civil engineer.
Oh, okay. So you, what were you called besides draftsman? You were more than just a draftsman, weren't you?
What's that?
What term were you called in your occupation here in the city?
You mean when I went into the Army?
Yeah,
I was a draftsman up at the City Hall.
and that was it? That's where you
Yeah.
remained?
Well, I had dropped out of college earlier, and I had several jobs. I worked for the Western Electric Company.
Oh, you did?
You know what they do in Cincinnati?
No.
They install telephone in the central office.
Oh, yes.
Cincinnati Bell doesn't install their own telephone equipment in the central office. Western Electric does that.
Who else did you work for? Who else did you work for? Western Electric, City of Cincinnati. Who else? Anybody else did you work for?
When I was going to high school, I worked for Kroger on Saturday 3 days
Oh, you did?
for $8 a day, I think.
Yeah.
All day.
All day long.
Cincinnati Bell for 25 years at least.
Oh, did you work for Cincinnati Bell?
Yeah, I retired from Cincinnati Bell.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, I worked there 25 years.
25 years. As a draftsman?
Oh, no.
That's what I want to find out about. Tell us
I
about
was an
that.
administrative officer,
Good. Okay, tell us about that.
about a middle-level manager.
All right. Tell us about some of the people you worked with and so forth. Tell us about some of the people you worked with. Did you have, I mean, were you a supervisor?
I worked in the engineering department for the city, and we were in sewers, that part of the engineering department.
Right.
I guess I should say we worked about sewers, not in them.
I hope so. I hope so. You've had such an experienced life and such an interesting life.
What?
You have had such an interesting life.
Pretty well, yeah.
There must be 1,000 stories that you could tell us. We still have some time.
Well, we did a lot of traveling.
Oh, tell us about
I
that.
wasn't making much money, but we were able to find cheap trips. We've been to Europe, I think, maybe 10 times.
Oh, good for
And
you.
we've been to the Orient on a 20-day trip to China and Japan and India. So we have gotten around.
Well, you certainly have. Did you take children with you? Did you take children with you?
No,
Just the two of you flew and cruised.
yeah.
What did you think about China?
China, let me think. Well, we saw the Great Wall. Have you traveled there?
No, I've not been to China.
You know, one thing they said about the Great Wall, it's the only structure in China that can be seen from the moon.
Oh,
That's what
yeah.
they used to say.
I've read about that.
But I've never heard the outcome now that they've been there looking back.
I
Have you?
know. No, I don't know. I don't think they've done much about it. I don't think so. So you've been to all the countries of Europe? France?
I think we've been to most of them.
France and
But
Germany?
there's some down in the Middle East, and that never seemed too great to me
I
to go
understand.
to Middle East.
Right, right. Yeah, that's a pretty desperate part of the world. The Middle East is a very desperate part of the world.
Yeah.
I don't have much desire to go. Did you ever get to India?
Huh?
Did you ever get to Asia, India?
A little bit. We were in Europe, in Spain, down at the bottom.
Okay.
What's it? You know
Gibraltar?
what? Huh?
Gibraltar? Gibraltar?
Gibraltar, yeah.
Yeah.
And we took a Russian, one of these boats that when you get going it rises up out of the water.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
We took that boat to Africa.
Across
That
town.
was our one trip to Asia, I think. Oh no, we were in Japan and China.
What did you think about Japan?
Japan, let me think about that. Well, I don't remember too much about that, but one of the big cities in Japan, we lived in the northern part. I don't remember the name of the big city, but to get to the bottom of that place, you had to take a train to do that.
It must have been a very interesting trip.
What?
It must have been a very interesting trip.
A trip through cities.
Yeah. Well, you had a good traveling partner. You had a great traveling partner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was a redhead,
Oh, whoopee.
a true redhead.
What color was your hair?
Yeah, I was a blonde all my
You were a
life.
blonde. Okay. All right. Well, by golly, if you can you think of any other odd story that you want to relate?
Huh?
Can you think of any other odd story?
Odd story.
Yeah. Doesn't matter where.
Ted, after the asked for staples to be sent to them.
Oh.
Ask about that.
Oh, that's in, oh. Your relatives in Germany contacted you after the war?
What did he do after the war?
No. Your relatives in Germany contacted you after the war to send them supplies?
Contacted his mother.
I'm not understanding it.
Your relatives in Germany contacted your mother here in Cincinnati?
The relatives in Germany and Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have been, all I can say about that, yeah, we've been there at our relatives in Germany, small town, I think 3 times, 2 or 3 times. And they're very loving people. They bring tears to our eyes when we have to leave them.
Oh, I'll bet that's true.
In my eyes, too.
Yeah, I'm sure that's very true. Well, we're out of time here, Jack, and I just want to thank you.
Huh?
We're out of time. We're out of time.
Oh, okay.
And I want to thank you for your devotion to your country
Yeah,
and your community,
Yeah.
and of course your family.
yeah.
And God bless you, and thank you for what you did for our nation.
Oh, you're welcome.
And it's very, very wonderful experience to have met you.
I
And-
worked downtown here for many years at Cincinnati Bell,
Right.
and I will tell you, the library was not like this
No,
when
no,
I worked
no.
downtown.
That's right. That's right. Well, thank you again for your
Glad to
wonderful.
do it.
Okay, it's been an honor and a pleasure to be with you.
What has been your career in Cincinnati?
Well.